miles away from home. Steps were difficult, I'm exhausted, but I did not fall. I hope something good is coming up. Free like a bird, but also bound. Look at my footsteps on the ground. I raise my head, listen to the sound. I'm happy with what I have found. Just breathe, just breathe, just breathe.
Right, good morning everybody. Got my fellow Swindoner, carper in crime, old Carp King. We've just got down to Chad Lakes. So I've not been down here in I don't know how long, if I'm honest. I can't even remember the last time I was down. What about you, Chris? When was the last time you were down, mate?
Summer last year was the last time I was here.
So yeah, well over a year for Chris as well. I noticed on the guys on the Chad Facebook page, there's one other guy opposite us through the channel of the two islands. I think he's been here a night or two already. And there's one other guy just on the other side of the bank as well. He's turned up this morning, but me and Chris have come along sort of like the back bank. And we're gonna pretty much just try and patrol this back bank all sort of day really, unless anything else shows or happens around the lake. But yeah, we're here. We've dipped our nets, as that's one of the rules of the fishery. You dip your nets and stuff like that on arrival. So they've all been dipped, and we're just going to be in the process now of setting up our gear. Not seen anything yet. Don't really know too much about the place. If they're fizzers or they're showers, who knows. But the sun's, just flip the camera around, the sun is just literally starting to rise over the back of these trees. So I think this bank might see a bit of that sun today, which will be nice because it is a really, really fresh morning. And I think there's pretty clear skies last night as well. So we're going to crack on with getting our rods sorted. I can run you through what I'm going to be doing bait wise, etc. Got a few bits and pieces obviously from the bait tech range to be put into good use today, hopefully. So let's talk in more action. Let's get these rods sorted and I'll come back to you a little bit later on. As Fennel says, let's go fishing. Right then, so first rod has just been made. This session I'm going to go with a solid bag on one rod and then a wafter and stick mix on the other rod. Now obviously depending on which rod does any fish or looks like it's doing the do on the day, I'll swap the other one over to exactly the same tactics. But for now, I've just got the solid bag rig just made up. I've gone with pink 10mm juice pop-up on that one. Little tip off from my mate Matt, he reckons pink's the colour, so if I blank this session, mate, it's all on you. So yeah, that one's got a juice 10mm pop-up, dumbbell pop-up, just with the little pellet 2mm krill pellets and the fish meal micro pellet that I've been using on my solid bags over the last couple of weeks. So that's a nice little parcel of food there. And obviously, as you would have seen from my little bait tip this week as well, I'm just going to give it a little squirt of oil. Now this is a nut oil, a bit thinner than the sort of the krill and tuna oil, so nothing too thick. So this is really nutty and hopefully going to draw the fish into this little solid bag. So just going to give this a little stab in the bag and squeeze it down. Just watch that oil disperse into the bag, hopefully drawing the fish down onto the spot. So there you go, nice full syringe gone in there. That's all gone all around them pellets. Again, as I mentioned on my previous blogs, this is PVA friendly, so I'm not in any rush to think, oh, I need to get this out, So that's what's going out on one of my rods. Probably just going to line it up and down one of these islands at the moment and just see what happens. There's a couple of islands with a channel running between the middle, so I'm hoping that the fish are just going to be scooting around that island and I might be able to pick one or two off. So that's the thinking with this one anyway. So let's get this out, and then I'll run you through what I'm going to do with my other rod. Right then, so that first rod's just gone out, and just flip the camera around. So I don't know what's underneath this bark, but it is literally like pushing into concrete. I've just about got the front ones in, but those back sticks, they ain't going in, not a chance. It's like there's a 6-inch layer of bark and then like, I don't know, like paving slabs or concrete underneath, so they're going down so far, but they're not sturdy enough to obviously hold the backs of the rods. So done away with them, and obviously got the taking the contents of the brew bag out, and that's now empty on the floor. But the right hand has gone out, and you see this channel. I've literally just underarmed the solid bag down into sort of into like here, so about, I don't know, a foot or so off the edge of there, and that's gone out. Lovely. So if there is anything getting around these islands, might be able to nick one. There's just going to be a mouthful of bait. Obviously with the solid bag, not going to put any freebies out over the top of it, anything like that. I'm literally going to fish for one fish at a time, one bite tactics. So that one's out. Now what I'll do is I'll talk you through what I'm going to do with the other rod. Like I say, I'm going to use a wafter on that rod with a stick mix, so I'll knock that up now and I'll show you what I'm doing. Right then, so as I mentioned, going to be using a stick mix on the other one, again just to nick, you know, a bite at a time, hopefully, just enough for a little mouthful, a little carpet of attraction, just to bring the fish into the area. And obviously my hook bait, amongst just other little bits and pieces, will be the only sort of you know, food there. So hopefully I'm just going to try and fish for one bite at a time and hopefully grow on that. So the stick mix, what am I going to put in it? Now obviously just got some of the micro pellet, just 2 real small handfuls, and like I say, they're only small, so they're not going to be too bulky on the mix. Now Baittech, they build awesome triple end stick mix, really nutty, and perfect for obviously binding together little sticks itself. So just going to put a little bit of that into the tray. Not going to go overboard, because obviously if I need to knock more up, then I can do. All the bags are resealable, so I don't need to go and you know, bash out loads of stick mix if I don't really need it. So just give that a little mix round. There we go. Next, what I'm going to do, if you've been following me on any of my social media over the past couple of days, you would have been noticed that I've been priming some 10mm boilies with in 3 ways really. First some oil, allowed that to soak in over 24 hours, then some stick mix liquid, which is really sweet and really sticky, and then topped off with some of that stick mix over the top. So they're basically, you know, been triple boosted as what I've called them. Now if you have a look at these bad boys, they're literally sort of, there we go, 10 mils, but they're literally covered in sticky, sweet, and all that stick mix is stuck to them as well. So I'm going to put probably just a real small handful of them in, because I don't want it too bulky in the mix. I just want it to be mainly just attraction and sort of tastes and smells. So a small handful of them have gone in. Going to give it the leftovers of that solid bag oil, just a little cap of that nutty oil, just stick that in there. Again, give it a little mix around, so that's obviously going to give it the slick, and it's another good binder, obviously, to keep the stick mix nice and binded together, so the sticks are actually, you know, kind of compact and solid when you're pushing them down with the PVA. And then some of this stuff, now I've tasted this many times actually, and this is so sweet. Oh, it's really, it's literally really sweet, really sticky, and the perfect obviously binder for this stick mix. I'm going to give it a good generous glug of this stuff, the triple N stick mix liquid. I can see this being a firm favourite of mine, if I'm honest. I'm going to give that a good glug of that. So I want this stick mix to become quite compact. Again, give that a good mix, and it's literally just sticking to my fingers already. Like I say, this is going to be the best binding part for it really. This is going to make it all stick together, all come together. Give that a good mix around, and you want, like I say, the consistency where you can just kind of bind it together with your hands, just so you can squeeze little balls together. And that'll be the perfect consistency really to put into your little stick mixes. That's not quite there yet, just a little bit more. because if it's good enough to ball out with your hands, then it's good enough to go into the to be obviously pushed together through the little funnel on the PVA tube. So there we go, that's loads better. So that's it there, that's it done. Look how good that looks, nutty, sweet. Oh, it smells amazing, good enough to eat. So that's the stick mix done. What I'm going to use on the rig is a stick mix wafter, just to obviously complement what's in the mix, and hopefully can nick ourselves a fish. But as the day progresses, might need to chop and change a few things, who knows. But for now, this is the two tactics that I'm going to go with, and we'll see if it does me any fish to start with. So let's get these rigs sorted, and then I'll come back to you in a little bit. So just before I put this second rod out, let's just show you through the tactics that I'm going to be using on that one. To start with, that may change obviously depending on what happens through the course of the day, but for now this is what I'm going to be using on this second rod. So let's get the camera down. So obviously you've got that stick mix, so let's start up in line. So you've got lead clip set up down to a 2.5 ounce flat pair lead, and then we've got £20 quarter semi-stiff that is mounted on a Gardner Mugger hook, and it's tied in a slip D. The slip D rig is perfect for wafter presentations. Obviously it allows movement of that wafter up and down the shaft of that hook, and it sits absolutely bang on. And obviously you've got a little stick of that stick mix that's underneath, just threaded through with a needle, and obviously the hook just gently pulled in into the stick mix itself. So that's around sort of 7 inches, that rig. But that's the presentation and the tactics that I'm going to be using on that rod. Obviously that'll melt down, that'll be a nice little carpet like that, and then obviously that little wafter just sat amongst it. So that's going to be going out on that rod. The sun's just making its way up over the trees. I'm going to warm us up nicely and hopefully warm up this side of the island as well. So let's get this rod out, and I'll catch it with you in a little bit. Alright, so just before we made a quick brew, just want to quickly just show you what the view's like for us really at the moment. So I'll flip the camera around and just show you the lake itself. So obviously you've got Chris down there doing his thing. But yeah, it goes sort of in a bit of a square really, so it goes all up this bank, but obviously Chris is the only one that could fish this bank here. And it's got a nice overhanging tree here to fish to. He's put a solid bag just off the edge of that, and then obviously it goes round to the other swims. So it's the lake's split in between sort of 2 islands really. So obviously you've got this island, and then a channel maybe about sort of 2.5 rod lengths wide, and then obviously over to another island, and there's obviously swims all up and down this bank. And again down here there's a nice overhanging willow down in this corner, not that you can see it because obviously the sun, but there's another swim here, and obviously the one that I'm currently in as well. Now my left hand rod is like I say just in this sort of channel just off this right hand side island, about a foot or so off there. Nice solid bag's gone down, and then the other one I've just pulled up to sort of like this overhanging area just over here. Just zoom in. That was sort of about half a rod length off. Didn't want it too tight. I didn't want to risk hanging it in any of the overhangs, and I didn't want it too tight anyway. But that's over there, so I've got 2 sort of here and here. where obviously Chris has got his rod just off the corner of this island as well. I didn't want, you know, one there, one there, one there. I've kind of just left Chris to have this obviously face of this corner. I can obviously fish sort of on these two corners of the island, and then again, because no one's up to my right, I'm going to explore this island as well, hoping that the fish might, you know, just be coming around these islands hopefully, and we'll spot obviously my two traps. Now, as I say, as you can see up there, the sun is literally, you know, starting to rise, and it is obviously hitting the face of these islands first, so they're the first two parts really that are seeing the most sun this morning. So I'm hoping that that the fish are going to recognise that and obviously find that the warmer water. I might go and maybe try and prep a spot down underneath that overhanging willow tree. If things get a bit tight and I'm scraping for a bite, might go and put a handful of bait down in there and see if I can maybe nick one from that. But it's still quite early. It's only about 8:30. It is the wind. It's nothing major, but you can feel it coming through behind me through the backs of these trees, and it is pretty fresh. The sun, like I say, the sun is coming up slowly, so it might add a little bit of warmth. But yeah, it's not the warmest. So let's see what the morning brings. Anyway, I'm going to get the kettle on now. I'm absolutely gagging. Been up since 5:30. So the good thing about fishing with Chris, you don't drink hot drinks, so I only have to sort myself out today. I brought just enough water for myself, knowing that Chris don't do hot drinks. So yeah, just me today. So let's get a nice warm brew on the go, and hopefully I'll catch up with you through the morning as and when something happens. Right, so as part of my bait package, Bait Tech also do these 8-litre utility buckets, and they got these removable trays, which are awesome because they give you so many different things that you can do with them. Obviously, you just pop them inside the main compartment of the bucket itself, and it can, you know, keep pots of bait, you know, little bits of terminal tackle, etc. But they're also perfect just for carrying down the bank. So what I'm going to go and do is just bait a couple of little margin spots. Now there's a nice sort of like reed line just to my right in the next swim. I'm going to just give a little spread of pellet and a bit of this stick mix down into that area, and then also obviously in that overhanging willow tree area. Now it just gives me a couple more little opportunities later on if obviously everything's really slow and there's not much happening, so I can just bait up a couple of little spots and just lower a rig down onto it for an hour or two. It's better than sitting down behind static rods and nothing happening. So what I'm going to do is just obviously swing the camera around, just overarm a little bit of bait just down into these margins, and you never know, something might come up and down this area that's obviously not got any angling pressure. So if I can just obviously lower a couple of little handfuls of bait just down in this area, it's nothing too crazy, it's just a little bit of pellet and a little bit of that stick mix. So it's obviously going to have a lot of attraction, a lot of smells, you know, the stickiness of the stick mix liquid, etc. And obviously the pellet as well, which are little krill pellets and fish meal micro pellets. So I'm going to just put some of that down off this off this dying sort of reed line here, and then just up in this corner as well, just underarm a few under these underneath that willow hanging tree, and obviously I can just lower down a solid bag in there as well. So just opens up a couple more options. So let's stick some bait down in these areas, and if need be we can come back and visit them in an hour or so and have a look and see if anything's made its way in, if there's any coloration in the water. The water is quite coloured anyway, so I've got my glasses just in case I can see anything. But yeah, let's stick a little bit of bait down in these areas and see if we can maybe make something happen later on. Not the one, so I've just been up and down the bank just having a little look, see if anything is showing, or anything, you know, kind of clouded up the water and stuff like that down there where I've been and dropped that bait. And I've just come back and I've decided to go and have a look around the lake. So obviously I've just gone to reel in my solid bag rig, and look at that for a gudgeon. Look at the length on that one. Probably like the biggest gudgeon I've ever caught. Just reeled in the solid bag rig, and poor little bugger had managed to hook himself in the eye. So God knows how long that's been like that for. Dread to think. Obviously the rods have been out a good 2.5 hours, so I've not had any indication on that rod at all. So he hasn't been able to move the 2.5 ounce lead. But yeah, not good knowing that obviously that rod has been out there for a good couple of hours at least. So I've no idea, like I say, how long this one had actually foul hooked himself for. But still, look at him. Right, so as you can tell from this sun, I'm in a bit of a different location now. Obviously spent a good few hours over that other side without any sort of indication of a fish or anything like that. So just done a little sort of look around the edge of this corner, and there's a sun trap right in this corner here. Just a real sort of, just a nice little corner bay area, which is seeing the full force of that sun. Now, to be honest, over that other side and on the end of that wind, it's not the warmest at all. It's pretty fresh. So I've just brought a couple of rods around, my net and my sticks, and I'm just going to lower one down just the other side of these these reeds here. I'm just going to drop one in over here, and I'm probably going to just put a solid bag out, maybe just off the edge of the corner of the island. Now it's so warm this side, complete contrast to that other side, and I'm wondering if the fish are going to be down in this corner making the, like I say, the full warmth of this sun. So I've got a solid bag on one rod, and again just a stick and a wafter on the other one. I'm just going to lower the stick and the wafter down into this corner, so it's going to be just a mouthful of bait. I'm just trying to nick one fish if I can. I'm just going to put the solid bag out towards the island, maybe sort of like a rod length or so off. I don't want to go too tight. So that's going to be the tactics, that's going to be the thinking anyway. So let's get these rods in and see if we can nick ourselves a fish. I'm going to give it sort of like an hour or so unless I see anything otherwise, and then we can reassess from there. But whilst this sun's up and it is at its warmest, I really want to see if there's anything down in this warm little corner. So I'm going to shut up now, get these rods out, and fingers crossed, a little bit of effort might reap a reward. So very quickly, before I stick this solid bag out in the change of location, just going to give it a quick boost with this sweet coconut liquid. Again, nothing, you know, foodie or anything like that, just something that I'm going to try and use to create some attraction to this solid bag. So just going to stick the nozzle into the sort of bag if I can. If not, just give the outer side a coating, like I say, just to create an instant attraction, a bit more of a smell, flavour in the water as it goes through obviously the water columns, hopefully bringing any attraction to the hook bait itself. Again, in this one I've gone for a change of colour. I've put the yellow 10mm, the juice pop up on that one, change of colour because pink obviously weren't happening over that other side. And again, just got that filled with the krill pellet and the micro pellet. So just going to try and give it a boost, give it some more traction, and hopefully nick ourselves a fish. I think getting this point of this bottle into this bag ain't going to happen, so I'm just going to give it a bit of a coating really. It's PVA friendly again, so it's not going to melt straight away. But there you go, look, all just pretty much covered the bag. And that's just going to create, like I say, a little bit of attraction to the bag itself, and just add another sort of source of attraction to the actual hook bait itself. So just give that a good rub in. Let's get it out there and see if we can nick ourselves a fish. Right, so nothing happened up in that corner. Give it well over an hour, and if anything would have been up there in that area, I'm pretty sure they would have had it, you know, within that space of time. So I've just been back to where I first set up this morning, just had a quick brew, redone the rods again, one on a solid bag, one on a wafter, change of hook bait again, colour wise, gone with a white one this time. And this time you find me literally on the end of the winds. Now it's not the warmest, the sun is just up above me, and the wind is hacking down into this corner. It's not the warmest, but I'm going to go against the grain and actually see if they're down in this area of the lake on the end of the wind, not that it's it's like a 2-acre lake anyway. It's not like it's a massive pit. So, but the thing is, obviously the temperature difference between this end of the lake and back up there is obviously quite a few degrees difference. So I've brought both the rods down, nothing but let them down on the floor, no alarms, no nothing, literally like the minimal gear, and my net. Left everything back round the corner and just gonna hope that I can nick a bite from this area of the lake. Now just flip the camera around. Obviously you've got the rods led on the deck. I've got one just tucked up round this corner, just a solid bag underarmed down into that corner, and the other one I've just got out sort of just a real light overhead chuck, maybe just into the sort of like the lighter whiter water. Left-hander, that is the solid bag, and that's the sort of stick mix wafter, that one. So as you can see, the sun is pushing right above this area, this corner of the lake, so it's warm in that sense, but in the face of that wind obviously coming from right to left, it's yeah, it's not the warmest. There was a guy who just fished this morning over on the sort of middle platform over there, and he wasn't he said it was really nippy over there, stood in the face of that throughout the morning. It didn't see any sun or anything. It's only literally obviously just made its way up and around that area. So gonna give it like an hour or so down here, because like I say again, if they're down here, then it there's not going to be loads of bait for them to get their heads down amongst. It's going to literally be 2 single hook baits with their little bits of freebies from the bags around it. So I'm hoping just to nick a fish, just trying to suss out their location or what colour bait that they want, or even if they're interested at all, because I'm not really seen much signs of activity myself, really, if I'm honest with you. Just been trying to try different areas of the lake, different hook baits, and whatever I can do to try and nick myself a fish, really. So gonna, like I say, give it an hour or so in this one. Hopefully one of these spools might start spinning and can get some fish action on the go. But let's just soak up a bit of the sun for the moment, see what happens with these 2 rods, and then I'll reassess again in an hour or so. Might go and try obviously that other corner where I baited up under that tree, but let's see what happens down here for an hour or so, and then we can reassess a little bit later on. What's the time? So it's about 1:45 now, so maybe got sort of what, 3 hours, just over 3 hours of daylight left. You can fish up until 9 o'clock here at Chad Lakes on the day ticket. So I might fish an hour into dark yet, I'm not overly sure, but let's see what happens with these 2 for now, and then I'll catch up with you in a little bit. So real quick update then, obviously just been sat in this swim. As you can tell, the sun's still out, but I've just seen one literally crash out just in this slack water. Just flip the camera around, so bright. So you see that flat water just off this snag, about rod length off this snag. One's just kind of shown itself. So I've just whipped in the wafter rig and put that out literally into that flat water. So obviously that's just going to be pretty much a single now. Didn't bring any other PVA with me or no other sticks or anything like that. Come a little bit unprepared in that sense, really, because I just wanted sort of 2 casts, and that was going to be it, to see if there was anything obviously down in this corner. But I've just, like I say, just seen one show itself just off those stumps in that flat water. So yeah, quickly reeled in that rod and whacked that over into that flat water. So I guess maybe sort of give it half an hour maybe, and see what happens, I suppose. But it's not a high attract bait or anything like that, so can't really don't really know if anything's going to come of it. But that's the first sign of any fish I've seen all day, so it'd be stupid of me not to just put that bait on it. But let's sit back and see what happens. If there are fish in the area, they might just pick that one single bait up, you never know. So let's just sit on that rod for a little while longer and see if anything materialises from it. So just making up a brew, and Chris is in. At least someone's managed to put one on the mat for us. Just stood there catching up, really, having a chat about the working week, and yeah, his rod's just absolutely ripped off. Another giant gudgeon, mate, innit?
I reckon it could be a gudgeon.
Obviously he's just playing that in. I've literally tried every corner of the lake today. Obviously tried over in that one. Sort of like the first corner you come in through the entrance. Nothing. Been up obviously to the other far corner, just on the end of the wind, where I thought, well, you know, why not? I've got, you know, not got anything to lose by getting up there, and I've had absolutely nothing in that one, so I've brought myself back round. It's about an hour or so now before dark, so I've brought myself back round to the original swim to be social with Chris, obviously for an hour or two before dark sets in. Because obviously, depending on what's happening, depends on how long we stay. Really, you can stay until sort of 9 o'clock, but but yeah, I've come back round because I've given it sort of like a good hour and a half over in that far corner, and nothing's materialised. I did see one show off the sort of snaggy corner, put a single on it, or the wafter that I had off the rod, and nothing's happened. But Chris is just managing to get this nice common into the net. Happy days, buddy, well done. On what's been a really really tough day. That's rewards really for sitting it out and, you know, like I say, dotting around the lake and stuff like that. So happy days. We'll get the fish up on the mat, and we'll have a look and see what it goes.
Right then, guys, you could probably tell it's absolutely freezing cold, but calm down, girl, calm down. But I've still managed to bag a nice one. £16 on the nose. Oh, it's gonna flip, it's gonna flip. Yeah. £16 on the nose. On the left hand rod, cast at a kind of snaggy tree. Oh. And yeah, it's taken most of the day to wait for a fish to come along, but finally managed to get one, as I've showed you. Oh,
Savage.
the other rod's going now.
Savage liner.
Savage liner. But yeah, as I showed you earlier on the Nut 365 dumbbell, made a little change by tipping it with a bit of a yellow pop-up. Maybe that made a difference, who knows. But we're not blanking. Right, it's freezing cold, so it's time to get her back.
Oh, so that was a right little result. Nice £16 common, immaculate condition. Really nice colours on him as well. It's got a nice autumnal colours on it, really nice condition. Had to flick the kettle off, didn't I, in process of making a brew, but doesn't bother me when it's nice to see a fish on the bank. So gives us a bit of confidence going into the next couple of hours. Like I say, it's coming up to sort of, I don't know, maybe about 4:30 now. So yeah, who knows, might be a chance of another one or two yet. Let's get this kettle back on, have a brew, and then keep my fingers crossed that I'll manage to nick one myself. Right guys, so it's probably just gone 5 o'clock now, and that temperature has proper dropped. Well, clear skies. The wind's kind of swung round, blowing into our faces now, and it is rather chilly. I think we're going to have to accept that that one fish for Carp King is going to be our lot today. My rods are still out. They're obviously going to be the last things to go away. So unless they go in the next hour, then well, then it's going to be a blank for me, regardless of however much I've tried to try and put a fish on the bank today. Yeah, so unless they go in the next hour, then yeah, it's going to be a going home a dry mat. The new mat is yet to be christened, but obviously I'll pack everything else up before the rods go away. But yeah, it's pretty fresh, and already by just speaking into the camera I can see the coldness coming out of my mouth. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a chilly one tonight. As always, obviously thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I think I'll be out next weekend, possibly down on Phil's Lake again. I feel like I've got another, well, I feel like I maybe can get away with like another 24-hour session, maybe go down Saturday morning rather than Friday night after work, as it'll be a bit of a mission with obviously the nights drawing in now. So maybe I'll get down there early door Saturday, but yeah, if anything happens in the next hour or so, then I'll get the camera straight back on. But if not, like I say, thanks for watching. Bye from me, bye from him, and we'll catch up with you soon, guys. So cheers for watching. Right, so me again. Old Carp King's gone and bagged himself another one on his right hand rod this time. Nice scaly mirror. Just going to get it out of the net now, and then we'll have a little look at it. It's probably coming up to about 5:30. We said that we were going to sit it out till at least 6 o'clock, so it's well worth staying that extra hour into dark, because obviously it resulted in another fish for him. So nothing for me yet so far, but let's get this fish out on the mat and we'll have a closer look.
Right then, gang, me and Martin said we'd stay an hour into darkness just to see if bite time would sort of pick up once it become dark, and it is literally only sort of just got proper dark now. And yeah, my right hand rod has gone now. It was still fishing close to that sort of fallen tree, but sort of more open water. Same rig, same bait, but just the other rod this time, and a nice scaly mirror this time, £18.6. So yeah, definitely worth staying an extra hour into the darkness. But I'm going to knock it on the head now. I'm happy. This is bonus fish really, so yeah, happy days.
Right then, so that was a nice £18 finish for Carp King. So I've got a feeling that's going to be it, to be honest, because I'm just going to wind my rods in any minute now. Chris is just going to finish filming his outro to his blog, and I think that's going to be a wrap. So unless anything happens in the next 5-10 minutes, then that's definitely going to be the end of my session. But as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for Chris for obviously putting a couple of fish on the mat and making it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, it's well worth staying that extra hour. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch up with you soon.